You're finally here, a tiny woolly mammoth on the cold, hard ground. You're shaking and wobbly, and your new feet feel weird. Your trunk is floppy and gets in the way. Everything is new and scary, but you need to get moving. You need to stand up, find your mom, and start eating. And you need to do it fast, because the world can be a tough place, especially for a little mammoth like you. For now, though, take a second to just lie there on the freezing ground and gather your strength. You'll need it, because from the moment you take your first shaky breath, life is already throwing challenges your way. First, you've got to stand up. Easy, right? Nope, your legs feel like wet noodles. And to make matters worse, there's this long, awkward trunk hanging off your face. It's not doing you any favors, just swinging around uselessly, getting in your way, and threatening to trip you over before you've even had your first meal. Eventually, though, you manage to get on your feet. Congratulations! You've achieved the bare minimum required to survive for the next 5 minutes. Now, your first priority is warm milk. Comforting mammoth milk from your mom. It's rich, it's nutritious, and for the next couple of years, it'll be your main source of food. But here comes your first dose of harsh reality. Milk isn't the only thing on the menu. You see, to grow up strong and able to digest the plants you'll need later in life, you have to eat. A mammoth poop. Yeah, you heard that right. Fresh, steaming dung. It's gross, but there's no way around it. That's just how mammoth biology works. So, go ahead, that pile your mom just dropped, that's your breakfast. Enjoy. Still, at least mom is here. She's huge and warm, and as long as you stick close to her, you'll be relatively safe. Notice I said relatively. The Ice Age isn't exactly overflowing with friendly neighbors. Wolves, cave hyenas, and saber-toothed cats are always lurking around, just waiting for a baby mammoth to wander too far from its mom. The good news? Mom has those massive tusks, and she's not afraid to use them. The bad news? All it takes is just one little slip-up, one moment of distraction, and you could have dinner, or be dinner. But staying close to your mom isn't just about safety, it's about survival. You weigh about 200 pounds right now, which sounds big until you're standing next to her. Without her, you're helpless. And don't even ask about Dad. He's not here. He was never going to be here. That's just how mammoth families work. No father figures, no child support, just a herd of females raising their young together, while the male live their grumpy, solitary lives until they decide to show up for a few weeks of, let's call it, adult time. You'll understand when you're older. For now, your life is pretty simple. Follow the herd, drink milk, eat poop, and try not to get eaten. The steppe, that's what your home is called. It's a vast open grassland stretching out as far as your little mammoth eyes can see. It's not exactly exciting. The adults spend most of their time eating grass and sedges. That's for up to 20 hours a day. Not the most thrilling diet, but hey, at least there's plenty of it. As the weeks pass, you start to get the hang of things. Your legs grow stronger, your trunk becomes less of a nuisance and more of a handy tool, and you begin to understand the rhythm of life on the steppe. The sun stays in the sky most of the day, which means it's spring, the easiest time of the year to be a baby mammoth. Grass is everywhere, the adults are well fed, and even though the nights are cold, your thick coat of fur keeps you warm. But seasons change, and so do the challenges. As summer fades, a big male mammoth shows up in your herd. He's enormous, with long curved tusks and a foul temper to match. He's not interested in you, thank goodness. His focus is on the females. And while you don't understand what's going on yet, you can tell it's not exactly a joyful reunion. The females don't seem thrilled about his attention, but they tolerate it. This is just part of life. When he finally leaves, things go back to normal for a while. But soon the days get shorter and the air grows colder. Winter is coming, and even though you don't fully understand what that means yet, you can sense that the herd is preparing for something tough. The grass starts to disappear under a layer of snow, and the adults who seemed so relaxed in summer now look thin and tired. Luckily for you, Mom still has milk. She spent the warmer months eating as much as she could, building up fat reserves so she could keep feeding you through the winter. But as the cold months drag on, she starts to lose weight. You can feel her ribs more than you could before, and while she's still strong, she's not invincible. Winter, as it turns out, isn't as bad for you as it is for the adults. Your thick fur keeps you warm, and your small ears and short tail are resistant to frostbite. An evolutionary advantage that makes the freezing temperatures a little more bearable. Still, winter is long, it's dark, and it's deadly. Not everyone in the herd makes it through. One of the older females falls through the ice, and even though the others try to save her, she's gone. The herd mourns in its own quiet way, but there's no time to grieve for long. The Ice Age doesn't care about your feelings. Another mammoth, this time an elderly one who didn't have enough fat to survive the cold, simply lays down and doesn't get back up. A pack of saber-toothed cats find her before the snow covers her body, and the herd moves on without her. You learn quickly that death is just another part of life here. The strong survive, but as for the weak, well, they become someone's dinner. But somehow, you make it through your first winter. When spring returns, so does the grass. The herd sheds its thick winter coats, and for a little while, life feels easier again. You're bigger now, your milk tusks are starting to fall out, and you've even started nibbling on grass. Just a little, for now. You're still mostly living on mom's milk, but you know that soon you'll have to start eating real food. And just when you think you're getting the hang of this whole mammoth life thing, something new happens. Strange creatures appear on the horizon, creatures you've never seen before. They're small, they walk on two legs, and they make a lot of noise. The herd is uneasy. Mom keeps you close, but even though you don't know it yet, these creatures aren't just passing through. They're a sign of a new, even more dangerous threat. And for a young mammoth, that's just the beginning of the struggle. At first, the strange creatures keep their distance. The herd watches them warily, and they watch back with dark, curious eyes. They're not as big as wolves or saber-toothed cats, but there's something different about them, something unsettling. They move together in small groups, whispering among themselves, carrying long sticks that glint in the sunlight. You're too young to understand fear the way the adults do, but you can feel the tension in the air. The matriarch, the oldest and wisest female in the herd, keeps everyone moving, staying in open areas where it's harder to be ambushed. The adults form a protective wall around the calves, and your mom's trunk stays on your back, guiding you forward. For a while, it seems like the humans, and that's what they are, though you don't know that word yet. They aren't a threat. They follow at a distance, never getting too close. But one cold morning, as the herd gazes on the frozen grass, the humans creep closer. Too close. It starts with a sound you've never heard before, a sharp, snapping noise that cuts through the crisp air. One of the younger females lets out a startled cry, and in an instant, the herd erupts into chaos. The adults trumpet loudly, their massive feet pounding the ground, sending snow flying as they form a circle around the calves. Your heart races as you press yourself against your mom's warm side, her body trembling with adrenaline. The humans are hunting. They throw sharp pointed sticks, spears, and though the thick fur and hide of a mammoth make for good armor, they aren't invincible. One of the spears finds its mark, lodging deep into the side of an older male. He bellows in pain, charging wildly towards the humans, who scatter like frightened birds. But they don't run far. They're persistent, circling the herd, waiting for another chance. Your mom doesn't hesitate. She nudges you forward, following the matriarch as the herd begins to move faster and faster, away from the danger. The injured male tries to keep up, but he's slowing down. The humans know this and they follow him, not the herd. You don't look back, but you hear his cries, growing fainter and fainter, until there's nothing but the sound of your own labored breathing and the pounding of hooves in the snow. That's your first encounter with humans, and though you don't understand it, you've learned something important. They're different from the predators you know. Wolves and saber-toothed cats kill to eat, and once they've had their fill, they leave you alone. But humans, they hunt with purpose, and once they've found you, they don't give up easily. As the months go by, life settles back into its rhythm, but the herd is never quite the same. The matriarch leads with more caution now, avoiding areas where humans might be. You grow stronger, your legs sturdy, your trunk more useful. You've learned how to dig through the snow to find grass, how to strip bark from trees when food is scarce, and how to stay close to your mom, no matter what. But the world around you is changing. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the ice is beginning to melt. The winters aren't as long, the summers are warmer, and rivers that were once frozen solid now run freely. At first, this seems like a good thing. There's more food, more water, and the herd thrives. Calves are born, the adults grow fat, and life feels easier. But humans are changing too. They're not just following the herd anymore. They're building fires, setting up camps, and staying in one place for longer periods of time. They've learned your habits, your migration routes, and they use that knowledge to their advantage. One day, while grazing in a lush valley, the herd is ambushed. This time, the humans don't come with just spears. They've learned how to work together, driving the herd toward a cliff. Panic spreads like wildfire, and before you know what's happening, you're running, your heart pounding, your legs burning, The ground shakes and the thunder of mammoth feet and the cliff edge is getting closer. Your mom is beside you, her eyes wild with fear. She veers to the side, away from the cliff, and you follow, barely avoiding the fate of several others who aren't so lucky. You hear the sickening sound of bodies hitting the rocks below, the triumphant shouts of the humans, and for the first time, you understand real loss. The herd is smaller now, too small. As the years pass, you start to notice something else. There are fewer mammoths, not just in your herd, but everywhere. The wide, open steppes that once seemed endless are shrinking, replaced by forests and swamps. The great herd of mammoths that used to roam these lands are disappearing. You're older now. Not quite fully grown, but no longer a calf. Your tusks are long and curved, your fur thick and matted. You've seen enough winters to know how to survive, but you also know that survival isn't guaranteed. The humans are always there, lurking on the edge of the world, and every year there are fewer mammoths and more of them. One particularly harsh winter, food is scarce. The herd is starving, wandering farther and farther in search of something to eat. That's when the humans strike again. This time they don't just hunt a straggler, they come for the whole herd, with fire and noise and spears. You run, because that's all you can do. But your mom, now older and slower, can't keep up. She stumbles, falls, and for a moment you hesitate, torn between staying with her and saving yourself. But she looks at you with those wise, gentle eyes, and you understand. She's telling you to go. You run, and you don't look back. When the sun rises the next morning, you're alone. The herd is gone, your mom is gone, and the vast, empty steppe stretches out before you, silent and cold. You keep walking because that's what mammoths do. You eat when you can, drink when you find water, and slowly you grow stronger. But deep down, you know the truth. Your kind is disappearing. The Ice Age is ending, and with it, the world that mammoths once ruled. Still, you keep going, one heavy step at a time, because even though the odds are against you, there's something in your mammoth heart that refuses to give up. You are the last of your kind, a relic of a dying age. But as long as you walk the earth, the spirit of the mammoth lives on. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. If you think the life of a woolly mammoth sucks, wait until you hear about that of a gigantosaurus.